Oh, hey, we got a question for Q&A with the coach here. I was just kind of riffing on some thoughts I had before, but let's answer an actual question. Just for Kicks said, "Hi, coach. I know this is unrelated to the video that I'm commenting on, but I would love to see your breakdown of the Creator Clash boxing match. Best wishes." So I hadn't heard about this Creator Clash boxing thing, so I looked it up. And apparently some YouTubers I had never heard of before, who were not boxers or combat sports athletes or athletes at all, decided to train for a couple of months and then have a boxing match with each other. So I watched some highlights of it, and I hated what I saw. It wasn't good. And I don't want to disparage the guys who went out there and did it, because obviously that takes guts and it takes courage and all of that. It's the mind behind the people who organized this that is upsetting. And I see this thing a lot. People take boxing, one of the most dangerous combat sports. Perhaps not the most complicated combat sport, because a lot of people feel like, oh, you can just punch, no fancy technique, so it's just pick up and play. It's not. It's not a pick up and play game. It's a fight. A fight has serious consequences, including serious physical injury or even death. And with boxing, since you're taking so many hits to the head, that's what makes it dangerous, especially if you're an amateur. And that's what I was seeing. I saw some people who were simply not ready to fight. People who were unable to intelligently defend themselves, being put into a boxing ring, taking unnecessary damage to their brain. I hate this idea. I hate this idea that is so often perpetuated through these clickbait YouTube videos. I spent 3 months practicing to be a pro, and let's see what happens. And then, whether it's a professional boxer or a professional anything else, and then they get millions of clicks and views and likes. Oh man, you went. And what's the problem with this? It gives people this idea that something highly dangerous like boxing is something you can master, or at the very least be good enough at that it will have no serious long-term repercussions. With just 3 easy steps, 3 easy lessons, or 3 simple months in the gym. There was a boxing event here in Shanghai that ran on a similar premise. They did it for charity. They called it white-collar boxing, where they got these non-athletes to come and train at this gym, where they would pay this exorbitant amount of money for a 3-month membership at this boxing gym, where they would never spar. They would just do calisthenics and hit the heavy bag. Then they would throw them in the ring with each other for these bad fights. And casuals who don't know how to box and they don't appreciate the sport of boxing generally appreciate violence. They appreciate people getting hit in the head. They appreciate seeing the head snap back. They appreciate blood. They don't appreciate art. They don't appreciate a real fight. A real competition is what I'm talking about. They appreciate a beatdown. And that's not good for the sport, because it removes the sport from it entirely. Sport means there's a competition. Sport means you have 2 guys who know how to intelligently defend themselves, who are able to compete with one another. That's a sport. If you don't have that, it's a spectacle at somebody's expense. And that is what this Creator Clash was, from what I saw. Again, I didn't see the whole event. I just saw the highlights. And again, I saw fight after fight where it was just people not ready to get in the ring, who were not protecting themselves. And some of those fights should have been stopped way before they were stopped, in my opinion, before those guys ever showed and got in the cage. But did I say cage? I meant ring. I do a lot of MMA commentary. I'm an MMA coach, a retired MMA fighter, so that slipped out right there. But I also coach boxers, man. So, cage, ring, either one, if you're not prepared, you shouldn't be getting in there. I'm often asked, hey Ramsey, if you could time travel and coach your previous self, what would you tell yourself? Well, I'd tell myself all kinds of things. One of those things, I would have coached myself to be much, much more prepared for my first fight than I was. Because, man, that first fight, I took a ton of unnecessary damage that was highly detrimental to my health and quite possibly to the longevity of my career. So it breaks my heart to see people hurt. It breaks my heart to see people exploited. I believe that's what we saw. Why is it that boxing is always the go-to sport for people who don't know how to fight? It cheapens boxing. It cheapens the competition. It cheapens everything about it. To try to dumb down boxing for idiots. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. It's dangerous, and it is irresponsible. Let's just stop doing that, man. If you're a YouTube person and you want to have a competition with another YouTube person, how about have a competition in your actual field of expertise? Maybe if you're an actual YouTube martial artist, then an actual fight with another YouTube martial artist might be a good idea. Hey, that would be compelling. Why haven't we ever seen that before? Hey, Master Wong, you want to make good on that fight challenge you gave to me way back when? No, I didn't think so. So, anyway, that wouldn't be a fair fight either. Just saying. It's bad, guys. It's bad, and they should feel bad. Again, not the fighters, but the people who allowed that to happen. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.